Well, hello again. First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Oh, yeah. You know what time it is? If there is such a thing as time. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Get up, move your body. Man, Monday come around, I'll be tired, boss. I'll be tired.
Man, he tired, boss.
It's a sad state of affairs.
Yeah, I had another one of those nights, so I was waking up every 30 minutes in anticipation for the show.
Same. Shout out to the 630 crew. I put a mix on for you today, so I hope you like it. Let me know.
You working that new Barcades in there?
Man. Oh, I forgot to drop that one. Yeah, I gotta put that in. Yeah. What's up though, man? Go to First Sky Omaha and hit that listen button. FirstSkyOmaha.com, hit the listen button. It's got some jams on it. Real. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. What's happening? It is Monday, October 17th, 2022.
22.
Fresh edition of First Sky Omaha in the morning. Shout out to the post listeners. Shout out to the chat chime. I forgot to, man, I already messed up the song. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning. Stuffing all on my jingle.
Man. Hey, are you getting some messages over there at all?
Nah, chat's very quiet. I wonder what's going on, y'all.
Yeah, the program, because I'm seeing Wanda Lewis giving us a good morning, and our Valentine giving us a morning fam.
They rolling in now.
Yeah, Restream be Illen, like pillin'.
Man. Might have to get rid of it. Like pillin'.
All right, now they're coming in. I didn't get Brother Valentine's, but I see him on the. I gotta look. I gotta look on the phone to see what's going on in the chat. It's ridiculous. Judy Printer says, "Hey, how you doing? Josh Tate gives us a good morning." They all over the place, bro. I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah.
Oh, those two are on Friends though. Let me go back to the technology. They can't keep up with us, is what it is.
Man. Arms ain't long enough to box with God.
Yeah, I like the way you put that one. That's good. Arms ain't long enough to box with God. Good morning. Excuse the delay. Of course, program's tripping. Not seeing any. We're seeing some chats. You know we can't have the show without the chat chimer. So we
we gotta get this together.
Get together for brothers.
Get it together for sisters.
It is Monday, October 17th, 2022. For those of you that can hear us right now, appreciate everybody that is trying to give us messages in the chat. We'll get it together in a minute. All right, here we go. Now I'm finally pulling it up. There we go. Now I'm seeing some folks. Okay, cool. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for getting up early this morning with us and dropping into the chat. Got lots to talk about today. Today is News Monday.
Yeah, man.
We do have special guest Matt Wynn for Flatwater Free Press coming on through on this Monday, October 17th, 2022. Thanks for joining us. Another fresh edition of First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you. How was your weekend? Let us know what you did. If you did anything cool, fun, just relaxed. We got a lot of grown folks on this show, so grown folks be like, yeah, I took a nap. And be excited. We excited about it. Like that was the highlight of Saturday. Huh?
Siesta Fiesta.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It'd be the highlight of the weekend too,
Yeah,
for
man.
real.
Pretty
Uh
much was my weekend.
oh yeah, got to chill a little
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah. I mean, I'll basically watch Nope like all weekend, watched it like 3 or 4 times, chilling
Wow,
out. Yeah, it was mostly just cutting video and watching movies all weekend.
that's what's up.
Yeah, yeah. Getting prepared. We're supposed to launch one of the podcasts I've been working on down here. The We Outside show is expected to launch. We're going to launch this today actually. We went to syndication on Saturday, so we had aired our first show in Columbus, Georgia. Looking to expand. So hopefully by the end of the year, we'll might even be in Omaha. Might
Mm.
see. We're looking for some new markets. So definitely look out the We Outside show, the new hot podcast on the scene.
Hey, we got an outside. Come on to Omaha.
Yeah. Come on through. So yeah, I'm definitely always telling them about Omaha, man.
Yeah, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. I love that we're still trying to do the Omaha Atlanta connection. There's so many
Yeah,
similarities between the two places as far as population and stuff is concerned. So we can learn a lot from the black community there, especially
for
that
sure.
can enhance what's going on here.
Here's some connections. I do want to give a shout out to Silas the Poet from Omaha. You ever see the Feed the Poet merch? You can actually cop some at the Culture House. Big shout out to the Culture House. But Silas the Poet, he got a new song with one of the OGs I met down here. I sent the track to you. The OG Backbone from the Dungeon family. They have a
Yeah,
new song together. So yeah. Shout out, man. I love seeing Omaha cats moving and making connections. Definitely to one of the Dungeon fam OGs. So shout out to Backbone, shout out to Silas the Poet. Yeah. Check out their new track.
that's what's up. Appreciate that. Judy Prinzer says rewatching Reservation Dogs, which is one of my
Mm,
favorite shows of all time. Man, that is such a good show. It's crazy. It's
man.
so good. I can watch that one over and over again too.
Is it
Uh,
still Indigenous Peoples Month?
that's a good. Yes, isn't October? Let me see. Let me double check on that.
Yeah, let's double check on that.
I believe it is. We do have a event coming up at the Benson Theater too for Indigenous
Mhm.
Peoples Month. I believe it is the month. Yeah, October. So yeah, man. That season, and you got to. I don't know if you saw Reservation Dogs yet, but
Mm.
it's like it's on season 2 now, and it gets better and better. It's just too good.
On FX, right?
Yeah, FX. Yep. Raina Williams gives us a good morning with some sunshine and a freeze face because it's a little chilly
Mm.
out here this morning. We got a little frost on the ground, even I think this week coming. So yeah, man. Heat be on. They be trying to in the apartments over there be like, go ahead and test your heat. I was like, my heat been on for 2 weeks. What you talking
Oh
about?
yeah. It's time to get that crank.
I don't play. Christy Nor gives us a good morning. Good morning to you as well. I'm glad to see everybody up on this Monday morning. How was your weekend go? What did you do this weekend? Did you guys chill out? I know there's a lot of people that were out because this is
Hmm.
going to be one of the last kind of weekends of. Well, no, I guess there's another weekend. Next weekend is supposed to be kind of like getting closer to the last weekend. You can even go out without it being freezing out.
Yeah.
So some
Farmers
people,
market's coming to an end.
right? Farmers markets coming to the end, all that stuff. So yeah, let us know what you're doing. I feel this pressure of like better hurry up and do something before it gets too
Before it's
cold.
time to go in. Yeah.
Yeah, get it all in the next couple of weeks, or else. And then if you're like me, then I'm the hibernating bear over the winter. So
Yeah, man. I think all the outside, I think like Benson First Fridays, they're outside events. I think that ends in like September. And yeah, it's kind of getting right now, it's almost like haunted houses and pumpkin patches is all the outside activity you're gonna get.
pretty much,
Are you a pumpkin patch guy? You
no,
no, okay.
I don't see the allure. I don't.
Nah. That's great.
Everybody I talk to, I mean, there's a lot of people on my feed that's been out there though. What's it called? Valhalla,
Valas.
somebody. And yeah, pumpkin patching it up. So I'm like, go ahead, heck, get your pumpkin patch on. If it's like,
Man, come on, man. Go ahead and get you one of them turkey legs.
they do like a Renaissance Day
Oh
style.
yeah. Turkey legs. Might even get you some mead.
Oh, give me a cup of mead.
Yeah, get you some mead.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Yeah. Let
We'll
us know
see.
what your plans are in the chat. Let us know what you got get into over the weekend. We did miss something on Friday that I wanted to round back around to, if that's
Mm,
okay. 49. Friday would have been the 49th birthday of brother George Floyd. So I just wanted to give a happy belated birthday and rest easy to brother George Floyd. Rest in peace, rest in power to the late great.
49, man.
Man, Big Floyd, man. Hip hop legend, actually. Screwed up click coming out of H-Town.
Yeah. Messed up, man.
Yeah, man.
He's my age. He's my age. He's a little bit younger than me, a few months younger. So I'm just like, I'm just getting started, bro. You know, that's probably how he felt.
Man. Could imagine. And there were some comments made. We're not gonna get into it, but we want to remember this guy's life positively.
Yeah.
And
changed the world.
Man, he did. He changed a lot of us. And that his passing, like, you don't want to let that happen in vain. That's why I wanted to make sure we gave him his flowers, wish him a belated birthday. And we'll be talking about the BAA here in a little bit, which is one of the organizations that kind of sprouted out of that movement that was sparked by the passing of brother Floyd. So we'll definitely be talking about that and some other things throughout the show. But definitely want to get that in there. Happy belated birthday to Big Floyd.
Brother Amir Sanchez says, spend the weekend in KC for our anniversary. Happy anniversary,
okay, bro. Yeah.
What'd you guys do out there? Any good shows you saw or good places to eat? Let us know how your travels went out there in KC this weekend. And happy anniversary again. That's what's up. Let us know what else is going on. Whatever you guys did this weekend. Like I said, for me, it was work, and then I kind of chilled Saturday. And then I kind of, I get like towards the evening, man, I'd be in here head smoking, diving into equipment. So I did a whole bunch of research on some stuff. Yesterday, I actually spent some time with the family. I call it Family Day on Sunday for me. So spend a little time on the phone with some of the fam out of town yesterday, and so that was good. Did a bunch of writing, and also I went down a rabbit hole on some financial literacy stuff. So just kind of did that all night, and of course had to watch the Game of Thrones new show, whatever it's called, Ring of Fire or whatever it's called, last night. Yeah, it's getting good. Okay. So that was about it, man. It's kind of a chill research day yesterday for me and family day. So yeah, that's about it.
Man, let us know how your weekend was. Let us know what you got into. Also, let us know if there's some haps going on throughout the week. We usually try to reserve our haps for this Friday, but if there's anything going on throughout the week, feel free to drop that in. Let us know. Also, let your mind be free, let your voice be heard. We do have a few events or a few happenings and stories to talk about, so definitely be getting into that. As Paul mentioned at the top of the show, we are expecting a guest today for our News Monday cycle. Our brother Matt Wynn from Flatwater Free Press expected to stop through and give us an update on what's going on with our friends over there. But also, we do definitely have to dive into this campaign situation. Definitely the gubernatorial race that we've been looking at. Apparently, Illen is pushing everybody away with his latest speech that he had at the Rotary Club. Even Tom Becca is chiming in, so we'll dive into what he had to say. And then also news coming out about more of the money that's being poured into Illen's campaign, and just getting the sense that it's looking like our government, the Nebraska government, some of the highest power seats are ripe to be bought and paid for, unfortunately. So we'll definitely dive into that situation, and also kind of laid it out, I think, on Friday when we talked about Ben Sass and his move to Florida and possibly Ricketts replacing him, and what's coming in on the back end of that is what's happening with the NU Board of Regents. So let's not forget about that whole role in that situation. Again, Illen is one of the regents now, and if he becomes governor of Nebraska, that will leave a vacant seat. What's going to happen with that seat? So we'll definitely dive into a fight that's happening and continue our conversation with the school boards across the state. Some good news, though, coming as we continue following the bag. Debt relief is now open. There is a website, a beta launch of the website for those applications for student debt relief. So we'll talk about that and give you a quick look at that website. Apparently, the application isn't too long, and there actually were a few borrowers who automatically received some relief. So definitely look into your account. That might be you. Check it out. Check it out. Yeah. Millions of dollars already relieved. So we'll talk about that. Also, looking at the voter ID ballot, again, not just seats coming up in November, but a few ballot initiatives and issues going to up for a vote. So I want to talk about that again. Remember, vote no for voter ID and yes for minimum wage. So again, the clock is ticking. We're going to talk about that and more. If there's anything on your hearts, your minds that we're not talking about, feel free to drop that in the chat as well. We would love to hear it. But in the meantime, in between time, let's go ahead and get this show on the road. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all the chat chimers, ghost listeners, first and last time, we all here. Let's go.
Hey. What up? Good morning. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers and ghost listeners and everybody who's joined us this morning. Thank you very much for getting up so early with us and jumping into the chat for these conversations. Lots of important stuff to talk about on this News Monday. We do have a special guest coming in. Matt Wynn from the Flatwater Free Press will be on a little bit later on, so stick around for that. Do us a favor, if you're on Facebook, share the show so we can get as many people in here talking as we can. And remember, we're also going live on Twitter, which has been blowing up here lately this past few days. Did talk to Blue Snitch, who we were talking about on Friday, the lady who is chiming up about the corruption in the police department. As soon as we got off the show Friday, we got contacted by a constituent of hers, and then he put me in contact with her. She hit us back right away and said she'd love to come on to the show. So she will be on the show Friday. Stay tuned for a conversation with Blue Snitch.
Man,
you guys remember what we talked about on Friday with her. So can't wait for that. It's going to be very, very interesting. In the chat real quick, Raina Williams gives us a good morning. Also saying the fall craft fair went well. We sold out of everything, including the biscuits and gravy. Man, I missed it.
Okay.
Man,
so that means you can't ship me mine, huh?
Can't ship yours as well. She said, "More better vegan is coming with the biscuits and gravy." So let me know next time we do it and remind me. I don't want to miss it. Also, Terry Carper said, "Good morning, First Sky. Bonfire and hay rack ride is cool for this time of year." Okay,
tell me, man.
That's what they do at the pumpkin patch.
Yeah.
Okay, bonfire is cool. I dig a bonfire for sure. Absolutely,
it's a decent time.
Yeah, I have to experience. If I'm gonna be out here for long as I have been, I might as well experience one.
You've never been?
No, man. What? So you out? Here's my vision. You out on a farm, riding around on a horse and buggy, looking at some pumpkins. I mean,
kinda. Yeah, I mean, you get
city dude. It don't really.
Okay. Yeah. Not many horse and buggies and pumpkin patches in Inland Empire.
Actually, it probably is, but that still ain't,
not your forte. It's a good time, man. It's definitely with the family. I'm telling you, take a little man. I'm sure he'd enjoy it. Pick out a pumpkin. You go to the pumpkin patch. The highlight is going to the patch to pick out a pumpkin and take home to carve and make your.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, see, that's why we don't do Halloween. So that's another reason.
Okay.
Yeah, we ain't okay. So I see what you. It's kind of like going Christmas tree hunting or whatever. Like
yeah, it's a cultural thing. But I can see if you don't celebrate Halloween, missing that one.
Well, I can see a bonfire and a hay rack ride for this time of year being something cool to do, kind of, like like you said, I have this thing. I used to say in California all the time. You don't go to Disneyland by yourself. So no matter how fun the rides are, it's really about the people that you go with and how the fun you have. So
right.
I can understand it. Mayor Sanchez says he went to the American Jazz Museum, the Negro Baseball Museum, Power Light, iFly, Union Station, 801 Chop House, IKEA, saw some family. Man, you spent you made your rounds out there in Kansas City. What's up?
Jolly old time.
I had
If you ever go ahead.
I was just gonna say I had a really great time when me and the family went to the American Jazz Museum and the baseball museum. That was cool, super cool.
I was just gonna say, if you ever go out to KC, man, do yourself a favor and check out. It's in one building, right? It's the same. It's like right next to each other, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. I remember the baseball museum portion of it more than the jazz museum. Like the jazz museum was definitely cool, but that Negro League baseball museum like definitely had me captivated. Yeah, go check that out.
Very cool.
If you're ever in KC.
Linda in Chicago says, "Happy cold Monday." Yeah, it's cold.
Brr.
Chilly. It's a little chilly out here. She also said, Vallis has good food, chicken pot pie, any pie they make, apple cider, donuts, hard cider. Okay, now see now you
I'm telling you, man.
speaking my language now. Now it's time to go
Get
check it out.
some fall grubs.
Christy Norris says, them damn pumpkins at the patch are way too much. Go to Aldi's. That's what's up.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm glad that you guys got to get out and do some fun things this weekend. Like I said, anybody else who did anything fun, let us know. Let us know what you did this weekend. I'm always trying to find different things to do. This town is kind of a let's go eat for recreation type of town. So
Yeah.
so it's always good to hear about other things happening that besides that and other different experiences. We love that. I would say definitely check out the art scene. There's a lot of stuff going on in the art scene right now. They're also like saying, "Ooh, it's about to get cold. You about to get it all in." So if you go downtown and hit the art scene, Benson has a nice one. Benson First Fridays, they really are going hard on the art scene down here too. You can walk around, look at different stuff in different places. So definitely check out some art before it gets too cold to be walking around. So I mean, I'm speaking to a whole bunch of people that might like it cold and still walk around in it. I'm sure. So I don't know.
Maybe Brother Mark Manor riding his bike in the snow and stuff. That reminded me. It might. That reminded me there will be I believe an art battle coming up at the Culture House. So yeah, definitely look out for that. Still working on getting my man Marcy in. Maybe can work him in this Friday. But yeah, definitely support the arts. Get outside, just explore your community. There's a lot of things beyond restaurants. Although I think Omaha has the most per capita restaurants in the country.
Really?
Yeah. There's a lot of restaurants in the Omaha area, but there's a lot of other things to do. So big shout out to y'all. Let us know what are your Halloween plans. What do you got going on this weekend? Just let us know what's going on in your world. But in the meantime, in between time, let's go ahead and dive into this first story. Get this ball rolling.
Yep.
It is about 22 minutes into the hour, and I definitely want to give a shout out to the BAA, the brothers and sisters over there at the Black Agenda Alliance for the work that they're putting in, starting off the show with some good news again. Man, just a couple years removed from Freedom Summer, as we're calling it. Again, the movement that started and sparked by the passing of brother George Floyd. And big shout out to the BAA for seizing that moment and making it a movement. They did not stop, and they are definitely doing some big things. And the biggest of things that they're doing right now is the acreage of land that they have secured and are working and clearing out. Apparently they have 8 acres of land located just south of 37th and Forest Lawn. The Black Agenda Alliance leaders say their organization now owns the property outright. So that's what it's definitely about, ownership. They're leading the way and setting their footsteps clearly cut, if you will. The organizers say the purchase is the result of a promise made to the community after the summer of unrest in Omaha, i.e. Freedom Summer, as we're calling it. And that was at the top of the list. It was that we needed land, needed farmland. We needed somewhere we could grow and build, said Kasim Shabazz, who put some respect on his name. Brother is the co-founder of the BAA. Their plan is to put an acre or two up for farmland and then build a youth facility for programs for youth in the community. Organizers do plan to keep the ecosystem intact in order to teach children in underserved communities about nature. Actually, they do a lot of training, hand-to-hand combat training, survivalist training, shooting training. So a lot of things, especially for young men. So shout out to those, again, brothers and sisters, that's a part of that organization. Brother Kasim says, we save money. We saved our money. We put our resources together and we said, if we can't get it on our own, then we don't deserve it. That's just our philosophy. So again, for those of you who are wondering how they went about purchasing this land, it's all from the muscle, all from the grit, all from the grind, and they did it on their own. Again, that is their philosophy, by any means necessary, if you will. He says we got to be able to do it for self. Very important that we do for self. We have to be able to do for self, which is again important, and they're leading the way by not just speaking about it, but being about it, and doing what they're putting their minds and their mouths to. So I actually wanted to show the land, if we could do that really quickly, so people can actually see the work, not just this photo, but there's an actual video. Shout out to Monkey Man Tree Care, who apparently was out on the land helping these brothers clear out some of the trees and shrubbery and make way for some of the progress that they're looking to make. But again, I mean, it's
a lot of land.
Yeah.
A lot of work. They call for volunteers to come out each weekend, man, and definitely can use the help getting parts of that land cleared, to keep some of the trees. And as you can see, man, he was giving a shout out to Brother Kasim, put some respect on his name, was giving a shout out to the Monkey Man Tree Company that came out there and helped out and brought their big machines. They had huge machines that were clearing some paths and stuff like that, man. It could normally cost thousands of dollars to really operate and run.
Right. I think I just saw like a bulldozer or something over there.
It's like a big chopper, man. It's a trip. It's a trip.
But you see how deep and far back it goes.
Oh yeah,
like, this is a dream, man. This is a dream, and it's sad, but it's not too often that we see organizations. I mean, look at the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation and the land that they had. I mean, it was big even for Miss Rowena Moore to secure the land that she doing what she did. And definitely put some respect on her name. Securing 17 acres, to be able to give to the Malcolm X Memorial Foundation. Mm-hmm. But those are really the only two examples I can think of, in the community, and it's sad. It's sad, but it is beautiful to see. At least it's happening on the scale that it is.
It really is. There's a lot. That's a lot of land between the two organizations. Really, it's a lot of land in in a small area, which North Omaha really kind of is. Because they're making sure that they purchase that land like within what is North Omaha proper. You know what I'm saying? And it's
yes.
When you think about that, and you think about like how much land that actually is, it's a lot, and there's a lot more that there is out there. I wouldn't even have thought that you could find like 8 straight acres of land anywhere, but that was kind of the point too, is that there's so much land. There is properties and things that you can buy out there that that it is still relevant to do, and the fact that other people haven't come snatched it up yet is something else. There's a lot that has been snatched up, so we have to acknowledge that. So the fact that these brothers found a big swath of land that way and snatched it up, that's what's up. Mayor Sanchez says, I made a donation of work gloves to the BAA in the name of First Sky. That's right.
Yeah.
Brother doing that for them. Appreciate that. Doing that for them, doing that for us. I definitely want to try to get out there myself before the weather turns and get the hands dirty, man. Get out there and do some stuff. And I love what they push. They push, hard work. They push just a culture of sweat equity and honor because of that. And that's what it's about. If you come out for the right reasons and you help for the right reasons, then you definitely have their appreciation, and you're also helping them grow at the same time. So that's what it's about.
Yeah, this is what we often say we don't have boots, but this is what pulling ourselves up by our own bootstraps looks like. I will say that, and again, big shout out them for setting the example and leading the way, man. And if anyone who's a part of the BAA is listening or has a contact with them, anything that we can do to help, let us know. Let us know.
Absolutely, that's what's up. BAA. It is 7:29 right now. If you believe in the concept of time, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. All of you, the chat chimers, what's going on this Monday morning? How you feeling? Are you awake? What's going on with you? Share the show if you're on Facebook, and if you're on YouTube, I think there's a way that you can share the show too. I can't remember how, but if you know how, then do us a favor, share the show. And thank you for being on YouTube. YouTube audience is definitely growing as well. So thank you very much for that. And yeah, share the show so we get as many people in here talking as we can. Matt, I'm sorry, Matt Wynn. I almost said Mason. Matt Wynn is going to be coming through here from Flatwater Free Press shortly. So definitely stay tuned for that. And also I want to give a shout out to the people that set up the interview with Blue Snitch that's happening on Friday. It's going to be awesome. We're also going to have another guest on Friday as well that's going to tell us about the Big Brother Big Sister initiative that's coming up. We need a certain amount of brothers out here to be Big Brother to some folks, and that's probably a good idea to jump on some of that right now with the unrest that's happening in our streets here in North and South Omaha that's been going on with the youngsters. So yeah, definitely want to check them out. So that's Friday's show. Stay tuned for that. Terry Crawford in the chat says big shout out to the BAA. Telling you, they're doing some big work.
Again, if you want to get involved, they will be clearing out some of the property and continuing their work on Sunday from 8 a.m. to 12. And I think that's kind of what they're going to be looking forward to. Sundays, volunteers are welcome, so definitely tap in with them. But also, if you want to get involved beyond just the land that they're developing, I do believe they still have, again, they do paintball outings. They still do hand-to-hand combat and self-defense training for the youth, survivalist training. They still have the flag football league. So, again, they're doing a lot of good work in the community. We just posted a link in the chat. So if you would like to get involved, please tap in with these good brothers and sisters and assist them in doing the work.
There you go.
In the meantime, in between time, want to take a break?
Yeah, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. Again, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you. We'll have to check on Pops. I haven't seen Pops come in today.
Yeah.
What's going on? We didn't get no hi from him. We're about to text him and see what's happening. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Don't you touch nothing. Welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. All be Buddi3 Da Gawd. All of you, the chat chimers. Have you been checking out the Hood Table on YouTube? One of the most entertaining local podcasts I've seen in a while. And they're doing some good work, man. It's very entertaining, and it's for adults for sure. So they speak how they speak on there. And so definitely keep that in mind. But I tell you what, they get really real, and they deep dive heavy into a lot of the subjects, things that are going on, firsthand information, and all kinds of stuff that goes on there. So they definitely have a different lane than we do, but we love the fact that they're doing what they're doing because it just enhances what we're doing and vice versa. So they actually offered. They actually put out a offer for Buddy and I to be on their show on Friday. And we were talking about doing some cross promotion there, and love to have the lady who does the Hood Table on our show as well, so you can get a little taste of that. But yeah, definitely check out the Hood Table. There is good stuff going on here in Omaha that really is kind of informative and helps you can be a part of. They do fundraisers and all kinds of stuff too. So lots going on in Omaha. And we're always going to try to keep you up on all of it. In the meantime, between time, Buddy, what's next on the agenda?
Man, campaign season, y'all. It is upon us. The time to vote is actually now. We can go either if you're getting an early ballot in the mail, you can fill that out and send it in, or you can go in person to your election office, your county election office, to go ahead and cast your ballot now. But again, we are 22 days away from the day to actually vote and continue to keep our eyes on these campaigns, and specifically, of course, continuing our support of Carol Blood. We're definitely, not afraid to share our support of Carol Blood. We definitely feel like we need new blood because the opposition, man, is just not. It's not a viable option at all, and we're not the only ones seeing it. Actually, Tom Becca, of course, from KFAB fame, is chiming up. Apparently, even he is not getting access. Again, if you remember, we've been trying to get Pillen and to answer it out to Carol Blood, Senator Carol Blood, put some respect on her name, in her call to debate. And he's still dodging wreck, ducking the smoke, man. And apparently, we're not the only ones who sees it. Tom Becca apparently pulled up on Pillen at his latest conference with the Rotary Club, and Pillen was ducking and dodging him as well. Apparently he doesn't want to talk to anybody who he believes is going to oppose him, who's going to challenge him. He's ducking all the smoke, which of course is a big, bright red flag. I mean, if you don't want to answer any questions during the campaign, what is that to say for when you get into office? Like, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. But as politics usually goes, and political coverage, we'll say, in the news usually goes, of course, the Omaha World Herald and Fox News, they're talking about all the money that's rolling into Pillen's campaign. And I'm just getting the sense that, some handlers are preparing to buy the governor's seat. And it's a sad thing that I feel like we're watching before our very eyes. Again, we've talked about the relationship between Ricketts and Pillen, and if Pillen does win, the chances of him appointing Ricketts to replace Ben Sass are very high. And now, apparently, billionaire Ricketts is pulling out the pocketbook to make sure that happens. $1.3 million in personal money sent to help Jim Pillen, GOP nominee, to replace him through a competitive primary. And now, to of course, possible, as we've been talking about, for Pillen to appoint Ricketts as the next U.S. senator. So what does that mean? Ricketts could essentially pay for his senator seat. Just making sure we all see it. Just making sure we all see it.
He making sure we all see it. He didn't put that money in the pack. He didn't.
No, they're not trying to hide it.
He came out of his pocket so that he can back Pillen. And everybody kind of feels like Pillen, that's a move because Pillen will have his back later. Scratch back.
Yeah, and that's not the only move. We'll get into this NU Regent situation and how that plays into this whole this game of chess that's being played. Because let's just call it what it is, man. The pawns and the pieces are being moved so the king can get to where he wants to go.
Very interesting stuff. Kimra Snipes in the chat says, "Good morning, y'all. Good morning to you too. Greg Gonzalez for sheriff. Yup. Says Pillen can't talk. What does he know?" I like when I watched Becca's piece on there. Tom Becca has a podcast now that runs from Fox 42, and he was on there talking about this and how he tried to confront him and talk, and he was ducking and dodging. And at the end, Tom Becca said, I guess I'm gonna have to vote for Carol Blood. He goes, I haven't been endorsing Carol Blood, but I guess I'm gonna have to vote for her because Pillen don't want to answer no questions. I was like, there's we're gonna have a lot of cats that feel that way in a big way. I did read an article too about Carol Blood who doubled the money that she was trying to raise. She, Senator Carol Blood, put some respect on her name, doubled her campaign money. So she really picked up the pace. And my pops always reminds me about how there's a big split in the Republican Party right now. There's the people that are behind Trump and the people that aren't. And I think that Carol Blood probably is getting a lot of people that aren't behind Trump as helping and backing that. But we also got some more information about Pillen is still outspending, and like, well, you're gonna outspend if you got the governor giving you millions of dollars. So Kimmer Snipe says it's just angering. Up and down the ballot, Republicans are buying seats and filling them with doompa-doomps. If you vote for Doompa Doom Party, then that's what you got to do. C. Larkin in the house, what's happening? Says Omaha is the blue dot. Let's do this again. That's right. Don't forget.
Man.
Don't forget. Tanaya Patterson says, good chilly morning. Good morning to you. Marianne Williams, who's been dropping lots in Friends of First Sky Omaha. Thank you very much for that.
Yes.
She says, good morning, and make sure the young people in your life are voting. 8 million young voters are able to vote for the first time this year. For some perspective, Biden won by 7 million votes. So it's good reminder. Good reminder coming up. I know that I know a lot of parents whose kids just turned 18. They're like, yeah, I'm driving them down. We getting this handled.
Man. I don't know if my mom was very adamant about making sure I vote, and I think she made sure I registered to vote when I turned 18, but like taking me to the polls. Actually, I think I was in college when I turned 18. Now that I think about it, I was in Florida when I turned 18, so I wasn't at Mom Duke's house. But yes, please make sure the young people are voting. And I've been kind of talking about this. I think even from when I was in school, I think there's a different breed of young people, just having to grow up, in the last 3 years, Freedom Summer, COVID-19. I mean, it's been a lot coming at these youngsters, and they've been responding definitely with social media. I mean, I don't remember seeing as many protests, at the high school level or even the college level that we've seen recently. So I do think that there is a more galvanized, young youth voter base that can be mobilized.
Very much so. Kind of a trip. As a matter of fact, I was just saying that too. These young folks are coming out, man. They're really they're really chiming up in a big way. So shout out to the young folks, and hopefully that makes them, they can make a difference too with their vote and everything else. But it's just angering to see. I'm glad that we're able to like cut through the weeds here and see what's going on and be able to kind of break it down. About how like you said, these seats are being bought in a way, man. They're definitely
Yeah,
playing
man.
chess, bro. Like, like let me go ahead and get you. So if let me boost your campaign so we can just basically just coordinate you, just hand over the governorship to you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, actually, that's what Otis. Shout out to friend Otis, who's been been with us a couple times on the Minus Soul Days. Did some interviews with us, and yeah, he basically posted that, said that Pillin is basically just sitting there waiting for his coronation. And it's like I get that sense too. Like, why debate? Why speak up? Why even address any opposition if your seat is already paid for? If you already know that the governor, who you're already in cahoots with the positions of power already, and there's already a succession plan. It's not just about Pillin getting into the seat, but one hand washes the other, which washes the whole scene if you think about it. Because once Pillin gets Pillin gets into the seat, he opens and clears the pass and appoints Ricketts, and then they together dictate what happens with the Nebraska University Board of Regents. Which is again, I keep talking about these young political organizations, these young Republicans, and now Nebraska University becomes a ripe recruiting ground for young Republicans, and they have their pipeline. And any liberal kind of moves that are trying to, that are attempted at Nebraska University, they're squandered, just like we've seen with the sex education standards, just like we've seen with the race equity that they try to address, that Pillin himself blocked, and trickle down from there. Sister Snipes in the chat, even saying down to the municipal school board level. She says Ricketts gave $10,000 to a Millard school board member. They never even cared about school board until we wanted factual history.
They started speaking up about critical race theory, and then all of a sudden, he wanted to take over the school board, eliminate OPS, take it over, and so this Regents thing, this takeover, it was a very interesting title when I saw it. Like, okay, kind of feel like there's something behind this as well. Kimmer Snipes also says we went from seeing only 2 to 3 speakers each board meeting to having to get escorted to our cars by the police after witnessing upwards of 30 speakers, all because of COVID and CRT. So they have been bum rushing the board meetings, the OPS meetings, and it's kind of incredible how there's a, feels like a move, feels like they are putting people in place. I remember we reported one time that Ricketts put some assistant in appointed some assistant in the seat in order
for an election
right,
position.
exactly. So Yeah, it's been going on for a little minute, and now it's heating up right now as we get closer to the election time. Did you
Yeah, and they're not trying to hide it.
that's the killer part to me. This man didn't put he didn't put that money in a pack. He didn't. It's in the Omaha World Herald that he spent 1.3 million on Pillen's campaign, like
Of
of
his
his
own
own
money.
money. So they ain't even try to hide it no more. They just, it's just obvious like what it is out there. Did you want to dip into that Regents article, or do you want to move on here real quick?
Yeah, it's actually 8:45. Let's move on. We do have a guest waiting in the
Yep.
wings, and actually I wanted to bring that guest into the conversation, and add that element to it, because a big shout out again to those in the chat for bringing up the school board situation, especially Sister Snipe, for giving us a little insight. Because if I'm not mistaken, our friends at Flatwater Free Press gave us a little insight on what's happening not just in the Omaha area, but across the state. What's happening with our school boards, and some of the fights and
There you
information
go.
that's
And
going on.
speaking of our friends at Flatwater Free Press, ladies and gentlemen, Matt Wynn in the house. How you doing, brother?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm good. Good morning to you.
I'm all right, hanging in there.
Good.
Definitely thanks for joining us this morning. Again, apologize for the confusion, guy.
Anytime.
We don't believe in the concept of time around here, so sometimes causes a little trouble. But thank you again for joining us. Those who aren't familiar, again, Matt Wynn, founder and beloved leader of Flatwater Free Press. Man, thanks for joining us. And yeah. I guess we can kind of pick up in the conversation if that's all right with you. Where we are talking about school boards. Again, you kind of gave us some insight about some of the ideologies that are seeping their way into our state. Can you kind of speak to that again and what you're seeing across the state?
I can think of. We had a story over the summer. Writer Carson Vaughn did. They did a really nice job about this movie, this documentary called Mind Polluters. And I don't remember if you guys had someone on to talk about that, but the idea with Mind Polluters is that teachers are grooming. Or there's all these words that we've come to know and love, right? Teachers are grooming our kids. They are taking some unholy combination of sex and kids and school and teachers. That's basically the idea of this movie, and it's being shown over and over and over and over and over throughout our state by politicians. These are people who are running for the state board of education, I believe it's called. These are people who are on local school boards. These are people who are running for other elected office. There's something there. There's no truth to this story, right? This is one of the rare issues that both the teachers union and the state Department of Education, which never agree on anything, they both agree, yeah, this movie doesn't have a grain of truth to it. And yet it's getting attention, multiple dozens of showing throughout the state, in community centers and libraries and church basements.
Wow.
It's just a change. It seems like something new that's going on here that we haven't dealt with before.
That's incredible. Yeah.
And I just want to know, because we're actually talking about the latest story from the Nebraska Examiner about the races that's going on with the NU Regents, and so it's not just at the municipal level or the elementary school level, but we're seeing it now at the college level. And I kind of wanted to get your take on, are those the same forces, or again, Ricketts is calling the NU leadership too liberal and saying that they must be replaced. Is that kind of the same mentality that you're seeing, or what do you is that?
I don't know. I have no reason to question his motivations on that. He might just believe they're too liberal. I think that's different than he's nobody's saying that a college professor is out there grooming kids, as far as I know. So okay. I think that's a little different. And look, these are elected roles, for better or worse. We decided as a society at some point, we're going to elect these people. And the minute you do that, you get politics. I'm taking this a different direction, but here's the one I love. We're here in Omaha, Nebraska, right? We're in Douglas County. We're going to vote for the assessor. The assessor. The assessor is not a political position. They're not going to do anything with policy. It's a freaking job. A sheriff, that's a job. Anybody can run for that, I believe, but it's a job that you have to know how to do well. And we make it an election that turns into this popularity race. It's kind of, journalist position is I just don't like politics at all. right? Any politics is annoying. And so seeing that with these races where there shouldn't be politics, treasurer, right? That's not a elected, that there's nothing political about that. There's no reason that a Democrat would do that different than a Republican. The rules are the rules are the rules, and all we're doing is paying someone to put them into effect. It's not like a city councilman, not like a senator, not like any of those roles. It's you have a job to do, now do it and don't screw up. And yet for some godforsaken reason, we've injected politics in this whole thing. What do we expect?
Yeah, and you've kind of spoken about some of the things that are happening in the deeper, darker corners of Nebraska where people aren't watching with some of those treasury positions and some of those things. So yeah, definitely thank you for watching out. Paul,
I did have a quick question. What's your opinion on the Fadoompadoomp party? What's going on? Just playing. Because it seems like there's Kimber Snipes is joking with this, but every time she says it, I'm like, it's almost like a party of them. It's almost like a growing. You got the robot. It's almost like they're putting robots in some places. They're putting yes men in other places. It's almost like you can start. We talk about this all the time. So it's almost like you start to group these people together. And like Buddy was saying earlier, it's like a chess game. So there's the pawns, there's the putting Ricketts in the seat, there's the whole thing. So so let me ask you this question about the way the Flatwater covers it. So you guys don't really cover election stuff. You talked about this last time you were here, I believe. And because it's being covered everywhere, there's no need for Flatwater to do any kind of real deep dives on any of these things. But I do know that you guys have a strong social justice lean, and so is there anything that seeps in from what's going on with this election race that we say on stuff on it, but he always says all the time he thinks the charges ought to be brought up on Ricketts for a whole bunch of stuff that they're doing. So do you see any crossover there? Do you see anything that relates to what's going on with the election that that fall in that purview?
Yeah, the thing that I always say is politics is boring. Politics is dumb. Politics is stupid. Policy is incredibly interesting and impactful. That is why we elect. That is why we go through the whole machinations of politics, because we've got to get people to put policy into effect, to make the policy and then put it into effect. And that is where we thrive, right? That is where journalism does its thing. That's where we see how things actually work. And we hold it up and we say, is this what we intended? What's beautiful about the society that we've built here is that there are rules, and then there's the evidence about how things are actually being carried out. The election thing is weird, right? If you talk, there are however many, 400 and something nonprofit newsrooms in the country. There's a bajillion newspapers and TV stations. We are probably the only one that says, yeah, we just don't want to do it with elections. That's not going to be our thing. And I get people look at me like wide-eyed when I say that. How can you do that? That's when we get all our clicks. That's kind of why we're not doing it, because everyone else already has the reason, that the cause to do it. That's when they get all their clicks, right? Why would I take those from you? You're already doing it. You're doing it fine. You're focused on it. Not my thing. Where we will come in pre-election is, there are some stories in some of these elections. I think you're going to see a story this week. You need Matthew to know for sure, but about a race here in Douglas County, and some kind of tit for tat that's going on there with regards to the Omaha Police Department. He said, I guess, with some documents, but maybe not the right documents, and just a whole bunch of it's just messy, and it needs journalism to try and cut through that and say, here's what we know, and here's what we don't know, and here's why we don't know it, and really break that apart. And I think that matters, right? That's not election. That's not about horse race. That's not about policy. That's about, the characters in this race know each other and have a past and a history, and we can look at it to learn some things about them and how they work. And we can ask them about it to learn some things about how they work. So that is, I think, a rare case where an election story fits our purpose. I'm all over the place, man. Haven't had my coffee, 7:45. But so forgive me for not directly answering your question. But I think for us, it's about picking our lane. We don't want to duplicate work that other people do. That's dumb. We have half the number of journalists that Nebraska did 20 years ago. So when 50 of them go to a press conference by the mayor, the governor, or whoever else, that just rubs me the wrong way. But we can do the other stuff. We can look at, we've got a reporter, Sarah Gensler, starting November 1st, and she was on KIOS yesterday talking about stories that she's done. She was the one who did remember when the state sent, what was it, the National Guard down to the Texas border?
Yeah.
And the state said, yep, Texas is going to pay us back for that. Sarah was the one that said, really? And pulled out the contract and found the place that was all caps with asterisks saying Nebraska will pick up the cost, right?
Wow.
That's what it's all about. It's about cutting through how is this actually working? How do we get out of that messaging and onto the actual policy, the acts that our government is actually trying to do? That difference is to me everything. I don't care about politics. I really care about policy. I don't care about what people are saying is happening. I really care about what's actually happening, and trying some way to cut through that cruft that's the game.
Love it.
Man, I appreciate that approach. And I feel like that allows us to kind of come up with new questions and look at, certain issues from a different way. And definitely in media, even through this show, as we talk about the issues, with the chat chimers and as a community, we find different angles and find different questions, and it always whittles down with us specifically. It's talking about poverty, regardless of who's in the seat, who's doing what. Anytime we talk about education, criminal justice, health, anytime we talk about any of that, the conversation always comes down to poverty. And that's why I'm actually happy to see this latest article by Adi Costello, because that's regardless of who gets into the seat, are they addressing poverty? And I don't see it that, I don't see many outlets coming to that conclusion or covering that directly. And I think your approach, as you are mentioning, allows you to do that. So can you kind of speak to that article a little bit? Again, there's this latest article by Adi Costello. Small town Nebraska has a poverty problem. So it's not just North and South Omaha.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. That's why I thought this story was important. And I love every time I come here. That's not true, but about half the time I come here, I find we end up talking about this idea of like North and South Omaha is seen a certain way, but the same freaking thing is playing out in small towns across Nebraska. I mean, they are so the same that it's eye-opening. This story, Adi Costello, she was an intern for us this summer. She went back to UT, Texas. We love her anyway. And we had her do this story on a freelance basis because she had it, right? She knew this story. When we do listening tours across the state, this idea, we meet with dozens of people in whatever town we're visiting, right? And they just tell us whatever they think is interesting, whatever stories they think we should cover. This kept coming up. We kept going to communities and they told us about their cool, homegrown, just someone trying to get something done about poverty because it was increasingly an issue they were facing. I'm going to screw up the statistics here, but Nebraska City comes to mind. Nebraska City is an incredibly wealthy community. They've got, I think, 3 family foundation, Morton Salt,
Right.
That guy's in Nebraska City. His money is still paying for stuff in Nebraska City. And yet they've got 50% free and reduced lunch in their schools. This is a new thing they're dealing with. They all see it. They all know it's going to have an impact on their community. And so what do they do to make sure that, it's not like they're going to solve poverty, but how do you ensure that that poverty alone doesn't really leave people in the back? And that's what they're trying to solve. That's what Hastings is trying to solve. That's what's all these communities across the state are trying to get a handle on. And it's interesting. I think, what Addie had that was really cool, I think, was 20 Nebraska counties have a child poverty rate above the national average, and they all have a population under 40,000. So, that's kind of the thing. These are small towns, small populations, small communities, and yet they're dealing with it in the most significant way. What do we do?
What without giving away the whole article, what's some of the reasoning behind the poverty in these areas? Is it just all the same stuff?
Yeah, I mean, there's no real magic bullet. There's just I don't think that's really, there's no explanations there. I mean, that's not entirely true. Meatpacking plants, some of the things that a city won't do, a small community will do to try and get some jobs in the joint. And those things tend to pay less. They tend to attract immigrant labor and things like that. That's more likely to be exploited. That's something that's going on. But yeah, I don't think there's any one thing that we can point to. There's some things listed in the article, but there's no one cause. There's no thing that we can point to. to say why this is happening. It's the same as everywhere. We all know what's going on. We all know the score, right? On the flip side, though, I got to say that story talked about the one issue, the poverty issue, pretty well. And Addie is a great reporter. She sourced that up. She did a nice job. But we've also done stories about small communities that have figured it out. They're facing the exact same headwinds, and they're saying, okay, we have a little bit of wealth. We're going to put it into things that will allow us to create more, like childcare, like community centers, just the basic kind of infrastructure that makes a place a community. And those have had big impacts. So I like that we're kind of able to do the dual view on this thing. We're able to show here's the problem and here's what people are trying to do to address it. And then we can show places where people have already done those things and how is it working? What's working? What's not working?
Solutions. Hey, just break in real quick. It's 8:00. We're at the top of the hour. If you believe in the concept of time, you're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul Beee, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you, the chat chimers, and we have special guest Matt Wynn from Flatwater Free Press in right now, giving us the lowdown. Man, definitely check it out. We put the link to the article about the poverty problem in the chat, so definitely check that out. And just go to Flatwater Free Press, join Flatwater Free Press. Get the information that you need to get there. These are one of our partners, and they hold down a whole lot of lanes and avenues that we do not venture into. But when they bring that bigger story in, it makes even what we're talking about even more relevant and a bigger story as well. Jumping into the chat real quick, the Hood Table, who we were just talking about a little bit earlier, is in the house. Says good morning, guys, and everyone over there on YouTube. Appreciate you. We definitely would like to be on the show on Friday if you still would like to have us. Appreciate that. Marianne Williams says, I believe Ricketts saying the university is indoctrinating students when he says it's too liberal. Yeah, that's what he's meaning. Kirk Penner with this anti-CRT push at the Regents level is saying it too. So that goes along with what we're talking about here with this Regents takeover that they feel is happening. Kimber Snipes agrees with you, saying, I hate politics too, but I love policy, or at least what it can do. So definitely like that approach too. And if I were to really drill down about what it is that I like and believe, and I would have to agree with you as well. Like I'm not a big politics dude at all. But I am struck by how much policy affects our life here in Omaha, our personal lives and our lives with our homes and our families, and how we and how we have the what's the crew that she's the Fadoopadoom's in here. Fadoopadoom's in here controlling stuff. The Hood Table says most definitely would like to have you guys on my show. We'd like to have you on ours as well. Appreciate you very much for coming through. Go ahead.
I did want to pick up kind of where you were left off, Paul, with solutions. And that's kind of where my mind was. And I like this distinction we're making between politics and policy, because I'm always asking the question, what is the point of government? Like, what is the point? What are we doing? And that brings up the question you mentioned as far as who's addressing this policy or this poverty issue. And it's the same, like drawing the comparison both in the urban community and the rural communities. It's not the politicians, as you mentioned. It's a lot of grassroots efforts, community centers, things like that. What are the elected officials doing to address poverty in rural areas? Because we're not seeing it, much in the urban areas either. So is it the same?
I mean, yeah, I don't think I have any insight into that. I don't know. I'm sure there's things, we just we're still living through a pandemic. And there were a lot of things done to try and get people from A to B, but I don't know. I think we're in election season. We've all seen the ads. Some people think it's about job training. People think it's about childcare. Some people think that, all of these are on the table in one way, shape, or form, but it does seem like philanthropy, and whether that be just people pooling their stuff at the community level or foundations or big donors or something like that, they're the ones that are really saying, we've got to do something about this. Childcare, I keep going back to that, but that is if you don't have childcare, then childcare costs a lot of money. It's hard to get in there. Parents can't work. And if they can work, it's just enough to pay the childcare, and you get into kind of a devil's bargain there. That is such an infrastructure thing that these communities have identified as that's something you've got to start with. If you can't do that, your community will not grow, will not thrive. And I think that, again, going back to there's a lot of child care centers in North Omaha, and that's become a little more professionalized. I feel like there's a little more attention to how they work and that sort of thing. And it's all just the same conversation.
Yeah. Agreed.
That's very interesting. I'm seeing cities, Nebraska City, Hastings, Red Cloud, very, very similar issues that, you wouldn't think they are. So again, that's why we appreciate Flatwater Free Press, because we're definitely not going to Nebraska City or Hastings to figure out what's going on out there. But it matters.
You should. Nebraska City's, both those places are super cool. Red Cloud's super cool. There's a lot of towns. There's different ones. In the comments on that story, someone was talking about a specific small town that they drove through, and they were like, man, it's just bleak, just poor people everywhere. It's a dying city. And there's such a difference. And I don't know what it is, but there's such a difference between those places and the towns you just listed, the towns in the story, right? Some of these places are like, they've got it figured out. If they see a problem, they're going to fix it, and and it's a cool place to visit. They've got stuff that you want to see. They've got stuff that you want to do. You cannot just whitewash in the same way that you cannot just whitewash North Omaha and say it is, what the media portrays it to be or something. You cannot just whitewash small town Nebraska and say it's a certain way. It is not. I promise you, it is different. It is varied. It is not homogenous. It is all that sort of stuff. So,
well, that's news to me, but that's why you're here doing the news. So appreciate you.
Yep. Definitely piqued my interest. Might have to reach out to these people from Edge. I'm seeing all through the article. It seems like they have some ideas on some solutions, which we're all about here on First Sky Omaha.
And those are just people who saw it happening and wanted to fix it, right? That's all that it is. They're no different than the three of us. These are just people in a community saying, this is wrong. Okay, it's still wrong, and no one else is fixing it. I guess I got to fix it.
Right.
There's something about that speaks to me, right? So I do think that just the other thing about these things that I'm happy about doing is Flatwater Free Press can tell that story in Nebraska City and then see it in Hastings and tell it. But we can also look across the state and say, this is a thing that is all happening at the same time. We can spot those kind of trends happening and tie them together and point to maybe something larger. And these are, not only is that cool that we don't just highlight one or two. I'm sure there's 10 more. So it's not like we finished the job, but I think the other thing, these guys aren't going to do that for themselves. They don't have a PR person. They can't afford a PR person. They put it back into the work. And so we're able to lift that up and kind of celebrate what they do. And that's been, I didn't expect that to be something that I enjoyed so much, highlighting the wins that some of these folks are having, whoever they are, wherever they are.
I like it.
That's a cool part of what we're putting together here.
That's super cool.
Now, we know how it usually goes. If it bleeds, it leads. So definitely appreciate your different approach.
Yeah, man, that's super cool to highlight that. It really brings some perspective into what's going on here. Like you said, they write North Omaha off. You can't write these other spots off as well. Kimra Snipes in the chat, she agrees with that. She says, I could have community organizers in Grand Island and South Sioux. What are issues they could organize around? It's a good question. Good question. You want to tackle that? You got any answer for that? Yeah.
Man, I don't know. I don't know. That ain't me. So you got smarter people to handle that sort of thing. But I don't know.
But I did hear you mention that you do have like meetings and you do have sessions where you do meet with community members across the state to at least give them opportunity to tell you what the issues are.
Yeah. And, it's funny sitting here talking to you guys. It comes to mind. We have completely ignored Omaha with that, but on purpose. I'll tell you, it's a strategic thing. We're here in Omaha, right? Mm-hmm. I can go to your office and we can do this there. I see you we're in Omaha. I feel like Omaha will give us a break on not coming. They know that we'll get here, and we will. We're already on it. But we couldn't do that with the rest of the state. If we said we're trying to do a statewide thing and then we immediately just started doing Omaha news, they would never forgive us. We couldn't come back from that. So we have purposely, we've been around 1 year. It's not like we've done this long term or anything, but we purposely put off Omaha and Lincoln, candidly, until now. We're actually doing an event in Lincoln it's the Wednesday, I think it's November 16th, about prison issues. Natalia, who you guys have talked to, spent the whole year covering prison stuff. Frake stepped down. And now we're going to have a talk with Senator McKinney, with hopefully Jasmine Harris. We'll see if she can be convinced. With Mark Foxall, with some other folks, Doug Kobernick, who's in the Inspector General over prisons. We're just going to have a talk. Hey, prisons are changing. Here's all the problems. Natalia will be there leading the conversation. It's going to be really cool. We're going to get hundreds of people in a room in Lincoln to talk about this big issue that we've been covering.
Awesome.
You mentioned the listening tours. We do. We go to Nebraska City. We've been to Hastings. We've been to Norfolk. We've been to Kearney. We've been to Scottsbluff. I think that might be all we've been to yet. Hastings, and those are great. We hear stories from the Community Foundation. We have a public session where we just invite the public, and that's really fun because you get to hear the stories that maybe the Community Foundation doesn't want you to know, right? That's where you get the guy coming in saying, "Hey, I tried to put up a windmill, and the freaking Air Force came and told me to stop." What? So that's kind of fun. But I would love to, and it's easier, right? We can do those in our backyard. We can do those in Omaha. It's sweet. Just doing hey, we're here to tell stories. Not saying we'll get to all of them, not saying that we'll even like all of them, but let's just talk. We're here to yell at. We're here to talk to. We're here to talk through what stories you think need to be covered and how they're covered and how we do our work. I think a lot of people have questions about that. Man, I know a lot of people have questions about that. This past week has been kind of eye-opening on that front.
How so? What happened?
We had that story where it was about small towns in Nebraska passing abortion bans. And the fallout from that was this woman who was circulating a petition in North Platte was also an anchor for a TV station, and she got fired. She was in our story, and she got fired for circulating that petition.
Wow.
And so we've just gotten all sorts of attention, different groups. The Blaze wrote a story about us, right? And so we've got all these people coming at us saying, just fundamentally misunderstanding journalism, right? Someone came to me like very, very earnestly saying, doesn't this worry you? Aren't you afraid that you're going to lose your freedom of speech? Then it'll be you that can't circulate a petition. Dude, I don't even have a sign in my yard. I'm not even signing a petition. I'm certainly not, like we all know, everyone in this business knows the score. We're not touching that stuff. Anything that gives the appearance of bias, we're not going to touch that.
Right.
So yeah, like I said, go off topic there, but it's been eye-opening for me. These people who are like informed community leaders and run businesses for 30, 40 years, they have no idea how this works. They think that I'm going to be concerned because I won't be able to circulate a petition. Nope. I have no interest in doing that. I can't tell you when those guys come up with a petition, right? It is so good to be able to say, sorry, journalists can't get out of here.
Yeah.
But I have no problem doing it either. It doesn't matter what the issue is. It doesn't matter what I think. I'm not doing that. I'll probably be reporting on it or think about reporting on it at some point, and I need that ability.
Speaking of stories that people want you guys to check into, before you get out of here, I want to leave you with one. Miss Erica Felt, who is a chat chimer and a friend of First Sky Omaha, and a child care specialist.
Nice.
Her business is. She says we need to pay attention to proposed legislation that affects child care. There were NDHS hearings just 2 weeks ago regarding child care subsidy hearings. As long as the state continues to reimburse providers at the market rate, which is simply what the public in an area can afford, the child care crisis is going to continually get deeper. We need cost rates. So she might be a good resource too if you guys are going to tackle that. I'd like to hear about what's going on in other counties and other parts of Nebraska when it comes to that too. What are people doing for child care? Yeah, it's a huge one for us.
It's a good story. I'll tell you, the Buffett Early Childhood Institute, which is where Matthew was mentioning Eder, they cover that stuff like crazy in Nebraska. And it's not really my bag. I'm not super interested in it, but if you are interested in it, they've got Erin Duffy, who used to be a World Herald reporter, great reporter. She runs that stuff and she has some killer work on it. So, take it. You guys know who that is and how that works and all that sort of stuff, but they do good work on that front specifically. Child care, youth education, young kid education, 2 and 3 year old education.
We always talk about this though, that the Buffett situation is kind of a problem for North Omaha in particular. Like Miss Erica Felt saying, the legislation is statewide. They cover it with bias. So we do know that She says I was interviewed by them before. So so that's kind of the issue that we're looking to try to get more of the real story. Because it's a real problem. And Gwen Easter is in the chat too. She said Buffett Institute is who helped push out hundreds of Black-owned daycares. Thank you. That's what I was trying to remember. Gwen Easter, thank you very much for coming in. We were outside of a restaurant one time speaking with her, lengthy conversation about what the Buffett Institute did. So we kind of need like an outside look at that.
Okay.
So just something to keep in mind. I mean, I know you guys throw stuff on the board about when you get ideas about what people want to hear about and talk about, and see if anything is sparks your interest. So just throwing one out there. She says she would also love to talk about daycare issues too.
Awesome. I see Erica here too. They're a nonprofit, so they're biased to. We're a nonprofit. We don't have an interest. I promise. It's okay. But I hear you on this one, and you guys know more than I do. Everyone knows more than I do what they've done. So
yeah, it might be something to look into for sure. But we'll tackle that on another day. Just want to throw that out there because we do have a lot of child care providers in our chat.
Yeah, that's cool. I had no idea.
Yeah, we have to stay up on a lot of this stuff, and they help us stay up on a lot of this stuff because there's so many. So
well, hey, also let's talk. I mean, I feel dumb that I'm just thinking this, but if we do a listening tour in Omaha, I'd love to get you guys. I don't know if you'd be game, but I'd love to do that with you guys too. That'd be fun.
Definitely. Before we get you out of here, I do want to know: is there any other stories coming down the pipe for Flatwater Free Press, or anything else that you're excited about that we should look out for?
Yeah, but I can't really talk too much. We got a story, I think, like I said, this week, perhaps even tomorrow, about the sheriff's race. I think everyone's going to like that one.
Okay.
We've got a story, that we're working on in partnership with the Examiner that it's been a long time. November will be the first birthday of this story when we started reporting it and talking about it and finally getting out there.
Man.
So.
Wow.
Man, doing the work. A year on the story.
Oh my God, Yen Chi, I think we talked a little bit about this, but she has been spending months digging into water quality, nitrates, the stuff we pour on our corn, the corn that we feed to our cows. The cows, do their thing all over the ground that goes back in the water. And this is hurting us. This is, people think it's playing into pediatric cancer rates that are some of the highest in America. They think it is sickening and killing kids, plainly. Wow. And it's, what are we doing about it? Small towns are having to pay millions of dollars, tens of millions of dollars to fix this because you can't live in a place with bad water. I've read the first couple stories and she has reported this thing to the ground. It's going to be eye-opening. It's going to be good.
Yeah, I've heard, of course, we hear about Flint, we hear about Jackson, Mississippi, but I've heard that that's a wider issue than we know. Like, and it's almost rampant everywhere.
It's especially bad here, though. I mean, those pediatric cancer rates, I think, were the worst. Like, okay, there's places that still have serious lead problems, right? And they're all on the East Coast. But if you look anywhere west of Pennsylvania, which is, in my opinion, still west or east, if you look anywhere west of Pennsylvania, we have the highest one. And that's because we're just a different state. We've got this aquifer, we've got the corn and the soy. We just operate differently, I think. And so that's why we are so far and away above anywhere else in the country. It's a good story. It's an important story. I'm really glad we had the right reporter for it and that she sunk her teeth into it and is telling it well.
Can't wait to talk to her about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Thanks for coming, my man. Appreciate you all the time. Yeah. Appreciate your organization and looking forward to working with you guys even more in 2023. So
amen.
We'll be talking.
All right. Appreciate it, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Peace.
Later.
There it is. Matt Wynn, Flatwater Free Press. That's right, man. Hey, let's take a quick break. We'll come back and jump into some more topics. I think I hope I answered the question there. Gwen Easter was asking who the gentleman's name is. That's Matt Wynn, WYNN from Flatwater Free Press. Definitely check him out. Sean McCarthy in the chat real quick before we go to break says, I also heard somewhere that one reason our region has an abnormally high rate of colon cancer is because of drinking water. Lots to look at in the water situation. I'm glad we got somebody from Flatwater that's doing a deep dive and taking months to look at the evidence and all that good stuff. So
doing the work.
doing the work. Let's take a quick break. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you chat chimers, all of you ghost listeners, stay tuned. We'll be right back, y'all. Welcome back. You're listening to First Sky Omaha Radio, First Sky Omaha in the morning. Paul B, Buddi3 Da Gawd, all of you, the chat chimers, all of you, the ghost listeners, thanks for joining us. You guys are chiming up pretty strong around here. That's what's up. Yeah, hit Flatwater Free Press up. You can get in contact with anybody over there for sure. And if they dive into this subject, I'm sure that they'll come back to us and we can get you the information as well. They would love to talk to you guys. So that's what's up. You're listening to First Sky Omaha in the morning, and this is a Monday. What is the date here? I'd be losing track of the days.
Man, the 17th. October halfway over already.
That's really crazy. Kimber Snipe says, thanks for all y'all do. Thank you for all you do. Yeah, this is a group effort. We really can't do these things without you. So be a very boring show. It's just me and Buddy talking about we dive off into some music and tech and before what's little mama doing, little mama getting some cookies. It'd be a boring show for y'all. Entertaining for us, but boring for y'all. So we appreciate you guys. Juana Lewis says it suggested that you don't use tap water for baby formula. Yeah, man.
Yeah, we didn't. Definitely bought that spring water, not even purified water, spring water.
Well, some of that stuff, man, and even some of these water companies, I'm coming from California, so there was an Arrowhead scandal and all kinds of stuff that went down with that, and then that, of course, that's the headquarters of Nestle, which is just stealing water from everybody, and just bottling it up, man, like out the tap. They even got tapped for a lawsuit on them just pulling water out the tap and putting it in bottles and stuff.
So Nestle is the worst. Coca-Cola, though, I mean, I'm in Atlanta. That's the home of Coca-Cola.
True that. We've had some scandals too about bad water in the Coke.
Man, a little more than that in the Coke too. But shout out to Wanda Lewis, giving us some insight. She says, Google the 10 worst cities in the U.S. for drinking water. She also says, I used to do water sampling in the Midwest. So I went ahead and did just that, y'all. We're number 7 for the 10 worst drinking water. That's according to NBC News. This is an article actually from 2011, so it could be worse. But it says the city of Omaha gets its water from the Missouri and Platte rivers, as well as from groundwater. Of the 148 chemicals tested, 42 were detected in some amount, 20 of which were above health guidelines, and 4 of which were detected in illegal amounts. So nitrate, manganese, atrazine. Apparently, atrazine is a herbicide that has been used to cause shown to cause birth defects. And nitrate is found in fertilizer for curing meat. Ugh. So yeah, that's in our water.
You drinking for duper dupes. That's what you.
Man.
Look, I don't know what used to happen back in the day.
We don't drink tap around here, dog. We don't drink tap.
Well, it might be tap in that. I'm trying to tell you, you better check it out.
It could be.
I don't know what was going on in the 70s and 80s. I remember talking to my great grandfather about this because they'd be standing at the sink just drinking out the tap. Now he had a soft water situation there that I think was helping purify some of that. But I remember coming from California like, we don't drink water out of the tap. What are y'all doing? And it was something he said about like 60s and 70s and 80s. The water was the best around the country, and so something changed. But the mentality of people that still drink out of the tap hasn't there's still a lot of people. I've never met more people in my life that drink out of the taps until I moved to Omaha. So there was something that was like, it was okay before, and we haven't gotten all the way to the other side where we need to be looking at this like, don't do it. Don't do it. Erica Fell says these suburban green lawns are poisoning the water. That too. Gwen Easter said MUD made homeowners get a backflow system that MUD made homeowners get a backflow system that it checked yearly and cost hundreds of dollars for them to come out and check it. I believe they knew there were problems with water and they covered themselves to protect their company, place homeowners in the position to cover their costs. Woo,
man.
Kateri Human Petzo, I saw your good morning early. I'm sorry I didn't get to say it to you. Good morning to you. Said after Standing Rock, it became pretty clear that the corporations are setting themselves up to make money off the one thing we need to live, water. Yep. I have a hard time spending money for something that should be accessible to everyone. Ain't that the truth? I'm glad you brought that up because that's the when we were on Mind and Soul, that's what was happening. The pipeline and the water protectors. That's where we learned about them and how they were out there trying to fight that pipeline. And of course, we had to break news that we didn't break it, but we had news that the pipeline did exactly what they were afraid it was going to do, which was leak in a couple places. Proving their point. So yeah, water has been a fight for a while. I just came across an article with that we posted on Mind and Soul about the lady from Democracy Now. I can't remember her name right now. Amy Goodman. Amy Goodman. I forgot about Amy Goodman going out there and doing and helping with the water protectors and getting arrested and
front lines.
Right, for telling the truth about what's going on. So we can't forget about the water fight. That is very true, man. I think about it all the time because when I'm trying to increase my water intake, I'm thinking about where is this coming from, man. And you got an attitude about it now, man. I'm looking at like, I'll be at the store, and if a gallon is 90 cents, I'm like, I wonder if they got this out the tap. You know what I mean? Like,
no, you got to ask these questions, and it's a sad situation. Marianne Williams also reminding us of some other things happening in our backyard. She says, Nebraska is still dealing with polluted water from the All-In debacle. And I believe Flatwater Free Press covered that as well. So, yeah, man. Water is life, as Miss Erica Feld is saying. And that's definitely a fight that we have to, prepare ourselves for and, educate ourselves on. Because as I mentioned, it's not just Flint. It's not just Jackson, Mississippi, who's dealing with their own situation right now. I mean, it's all of us.
People, I see memes all the time. Millions of dollars going to the Russian war.
And billions.
Right. And they can't fix the water. They can't fix the water situation around here. It's a mess. It is 8:28 right now, if you believe in the concept of time. Definitely have a few more stories before we get to the halves. Let's go ahead and jump back into some things real quick before we go to that. In the chat, Wanda Lewis says, when we lost power from 4 to 5 days last year, the Platte River was leaking sewage into the drinking water because the electric machine that's used to separate was down. They didn't tell people not to drink the water. Also, COVID is being tested for schools by testing the sewage water outside the building. Wow. Also, Gwen Easter says, that's deep, bro. Gwen Easter says, I definitely remember from time to time my water was coming out brown, so I started buying bottled water. In fact, MUD will be here today to check my backflow. Do you all remember when DuPont lawsuit? Oh yeah, when DuPont lawsuit that poisoned hundreds of families. There was a movie made about it, and they believe that issue has affected families across the United States. They're definitely.
I do.
Yeah.
What was the name of that movie? I'm trying to think. I remember that.
I forget that DuPont. I before I moved to Omaha, I learned about the DuPont family because living they're out in New Jersey in a place that I was getting ready to move to, and they're one of those what they call royal families of America. Is they got money deep, and they were getting hit hard by that one because they were really messing with people. It was really like jacking people up.
Dark Waters was the name of it, with Tim Robbins.
Well, I tell you, man, it's messed up when you can't trust what people are doing here. It's messed up. Um, there's cases of people feeling like that eczema and all kinds of problems, skin problems, come from showering with this water. Um, let alone what it's doing to you drinking.
Man.
Yeah, Sean McCarthy said the movie Aaron Brockovich was focused on PG&E's mishandling of drinking water. I forgot about that. $333 million settlement. That's crazy, man. Nothing has changed. We're still here.
Yeah,
$333 million settlement didn't fix nothing.
That's why I said these billionaires, like it's unethical, because who's running these companies? Come on, man. It's the same people. Like the brother is running the company, the other brother is running the policy, and we're just watching it happen.
And Elon Musk is flying to the moon.
You know what I'm saying?
He put $1 billion in and solve all the water problems in America, probably. Hot mess. Moving on. Yeah, I'm getting heated about that. I'm sitting here looking at my coffee cup like, what kind of water did I put in this thing?
Hey, you got me looking at my spring water twice too. So yeah, definitely. But yeah, man, just about 30 minutes left. We can soapbox about that for the rest of the show, but we do have other news to get into.
I will say before we do that, we'd like to provide solutions around here. You can get some Third Eye water. Them cats they're thorough about making sure that their water is clean. They go through several processes. It's a little expensive, but that's because they make sure that it's clean. And there are a couple of brothers from Omaha that have a water company called Third Eye Water. Check them out.
Man, shameless plug. Thank you on that. Definitely shout out to those brothers for doing the work. Definitely.
Yep.
But yeah, man, we do have just about 22 days left until the election, so the clock is ticking quickly. And we've talked about, again, some of the seats that are open and some of the chess games that are being played to make sure certain people find their way into those seats. But it's not just about the elected positions. There are also a few ballot initiatives that we like to inform the people about and make sure that we're prepared to vote on. And one of the biggest ones, of course, is voter ID. That's something that we've been talking about quite some time, actually all year. Again, even going back to how some of those petitions were being collected. But now that those petitions have been collected and they are making their way to the ballot, again, Initiative 432, the proposed constitutional amendment will require voters to present valid photographic ID before casting a ballot in any election. Again, let's keep that in mind. If the measure passed, state lawmakers would determine many of the details, such as what counts as a valid ID. So again, many of us may have to get a new ID. We don't know, again, what stipulations they will put on this if it passes. But we can avoid all that by making sure it doesn't pass. The amendment would apply to mail-in ballots as well as those cast in person, which again causes a few logistical issues, like how would you present your ID through the mail? Are you going to send in a copy? And we got to know that there's going to be a matter of time before they start to question the legitimacy of those copies. Are you going to send in your actual ID? We don't know. That would put Nebraska again in a minority among the 35 states that do require voters to present some type of ID for voting. But again, a lot of those who are in opposition to this are basically saying it is voter suppression. Again, of those 35 states that do require voter ID, 18 of them request or require a photo ID, according to a tally by the National Conference of State Legislatures. 12 of them allow alternatives for at least some people who lack a photo ID. So maybe like a social security card, passport, maybe those types of things. But of course, Nebraska, of all of those states, is being viewed as the strictest of states that could be pushing voter ID For instance, the 6 of the strictest allow people to vote only if they present an acceptable photo ID either at the polls or within a few days of the election, and only 3 of the 6 require photo IDs, known as for absence or advance or absentee or advance ballots. Of course, all 3 have narrow exceptions, and Nebraska is one of them, according to Mike Forsyth of Civic Nebraska. He says Nebraska will become one of the most narrow and restrictive states in the nation in the terms of the kind of ID that would allow you to vote. For thousands of Nebraska voters, voter ID would be a hindrance, an impediment to freely cast a ballot. And let's just call it what it is, the type of hurdle that would actually cause some to not even vote at all, which, of course, is why it's being called voter suppression. Also, Bob Evans, Secretary of State of Nebraska, says in support, says it provides an additional layer of security for our voting process. No one will be foreclosed from voting because of this requirement. I don't think is going to impede voting in any way. But of course, we just laid out how it can impede voting, and we got to know that again, the whole security for our voting process is a dog whistle, man. They're of course responding to the notion that the election was stolen from Trump. And of course, this is residual from that. So again, look out for Initiative 432. Vote no, and vote yes for minimum wage.
There you go. Marianne Williams in the chat is talking about that minimum wage. She says one way to get our young people to vote is to remind them about the proposed minimum wage increase. Would affect many 18-year-olds immediately. A lot of 18-year-olds got jobs out there where they're making minimum wage. So that's what's up.
$7.25.
Yeah, wait, that's how much minimum wage is? $7.25.
Bro, yes, that's how much I was making at Burger King.
Bro, I can't even. Don't even look. You got to be double digits at least. I mean, dang. I'm sitting here thinking it was like $10 or something like that. So they're trying to get it to 15 from $7.25.
If I'm not mistaken, hey, please. Oh, okay, $9.25 now. Oh, excuse me, $2.
Still, I need double digits. For those of you that were asking about Pops, he just hit me up and he said he had some early morning appointments. So he's cool, he's fine. Yeah, send all his love to the fam. He says, appreciate you guys asking about him. Linda in Chicago says, please vote no for voter ID. It will cost money for those that might not have one. And why on earth would we vote for something that we don't know enough about? They say vote first, then we'll give you the details.
Right. Exactly. Come on, man.
Yeah,
make it make sense.
Linda in Chicago says we have no problems with the integrity of voting in Nebraska. That's a fact. I mean, there's not really any problems with the integrity of voting anywhere. It's been proven it's not a voter fraud is not a thing.
They had their day in court.
It's not a thing. So, why would you? Yeah, it's obvious voter suppression. It's obvious just another way to stop people from voting. So yeah, got to vote no. I mean, we talk about this all the time. Let's vote no on voter suppression. Vote yes on minimum wage.
I honestly don't think it'll stand even if it does pass, because I mean it's unconstitutional, man. Like, the courts have already ruled that people cannot be required to pay for their right to vote, and that's essentially because you have to pay for this ID. So unless they're going to start giving IDs out for free, then essentially you're being forced to pay for your vote. And if I'm not mistaken, it's about $35.
Something like that. I also think it's a move on their part to stop. We made a lot of progress with the mail-in ballots.
Oh yeah.
And they're going to say, well, you can't mail in ballots anymore. You got to come down to the office and show your ID. I think that's part of the reason why they're pushing that as well. Because think about how many people did the absentee ballots or the early voting. Think about how many people sat at home and did that because they weren't going to go out to the. You know what I'm saying? Like, when we think about the last couple of elections, there's been a lot of progress on in certain communities. Over being able to mail that ballot in. So this might be a way they're trying to stop it as well.
Also, President Love Jr. is giving us some insight on some of the obstacles to getting an ID beyond just the finances of it. Some of the red tape and the documentation that you need. Again, I've heard people struggling to get birth certificates,
Forgot about that.
Social security. Like also, if I'm not mistaken, you need like 2 forms of proof of residence to get an ID. So if you're homeless, what does that mean?
Can't
Yeah,
vote.
exactly. So there's a lot of, and you could possibly be voting on the very person that could help you in your homelessness. You know what I'm saying, with some of the policy that they create. So yeah, man, it's very interesting.
Well, the thing about civics is you remember that phrase, no taxation without representation. So these people that are paying taxes, whether they're from somewhere else or whether they're homeless or whatever, and they're not, if you make it so that they can't vote, then why would they have to be subject to those taxes or subject to any of the laws exist for people that are citizens, or people that just any of the laws of the land? Like, why would you have to be able to be subject to those when you can't have a say in what those are in a democracy? They don't think of this thing as a democracy at all. They want to just be able to rule.
Right.
So yeah, messed up. Wanda Lewis says the live is cutting out badly this morning. Also, first Sky Omaha link wasn't to be found in search this morning. However, you had to wait for the notification if you subscribe to the channel. Interesting. Wonder what's going on. No, we're not having any internet issues, so I don't know if that's the cutting out is on your end or someone or anybody else experiencing that. But we did experience a lag in chats. The chats didn't come in till late, so there might be something going on with this program. So we appreciate you letting us know about that. You know that you guys are also our tech feedback as well. So thank you for that. We'll definitely check into it. Also, Mr. Rickenfeld says I will never forget being homeless with my mother as a teen, and she made a point to vote. Man, if you got the voter ID situation happening and you can't put an address on ID, you wouldn't been able to vote. So yeah, you can
Right.
see how important it is. Yeah.
Voter
So
protection all the way.
she said it cut out for her this morning too. We got to look into what's going on with the program here. Yeah. So
Yeah,
sorry about the technical difficulties. We didn't know that was happening. We'll definitely check into it after the show.
Yeah. Anyone else experiencing that? Please let us know.
Yeah. It's a Facebook thing. It's been giving me problems commenting across the app for 2 days. That's
Okay.
Facebook. Yeah.
Well, Mayor Sanchez, Linda, or anyone else on YouTube, are you experiencing that as well? Please let us know.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that.
It's just the camera. Yeah. See a few people on YouTube. Let us know.
Yep. Mama God says, I don't have any problems this morning. A high ghosting today. Crafting. Okay.
Hey, moms.
What you making? What you over there crafting?
Yeah. Let's.
I still got your coasters from that time I came to the party.
Man, she's actually sent me some things. She made some chip bags. Little Mama's birthday is coming up, so she's making some things. Yeah, man, tap in with Mama God if you got a party or some she does crafts and party decorations and things like that. Check her out.
That's what's up.
So, candy and balloon displays and all of that. Check her out.
Wow. Okay. I love it. 842, if you believe in the concept of time, again, excuse all the technical issues if you're getting them. It sounds like it's Facebook this time, and I wouldn't put it past them. What do we got? You want a lightning round before we get to the haps, or you got something else you want to dive into?
Well, it's Monday. I don't know how many haps we do have. If anybody has anything going on throughout the week, definitely feel free to drop that into the chat and let us know. But yeah, we do have a couple articles to get through, so let's go ahead and knock them on out before we get out of here and continue talking about the student debt relief, something that we've been keeping our eye on for quite some time, and there has been a few lawsuits and attempts to stop it. I believe the Republican Party asked for a stay for this, but apparently to no avail. The website is open. The debt relief beta launch took place, I believe, over the weekend, and you can now apply for your student loan relief. Again, it's up to $20,000 if requested. You are asked to provide proof of income for the U.S. Department of Education. It says, I understand that if I fail to do so by March 31st, 2024. So again, March 31st, 2024, or if my income does not qualify for federal student loan debt relief, the relief will not be processed. So there are some requirements and some stipulations But again, that site is open, and I do believe that there are some people who have already been relieved of their debt. So if you had any questions, definitely check that out. The website is studentaid.gov/debt relief/application. We'll actually drop that into the chat. Sister Wanda Lewis asked us in the chat, is there a link? We're posting that right now.
People
But again,
got their money already.
Yeah, that's what's being reported. That's what I am seeing, that there were a few borrowers who apparently automatically received some relief. So definitely check your account to see, if you qualify, or definitely follow that link to answer your questions.
So I got some questions. I know there's a couple people in the chat that already did this. I don't know if they're in the chat.
Right.
They're on Friends of First Sky Omaha. Tell us about the process. What kind of hoops that you had to jump through here, just for people? Wanda Lewis says my daughter needs some help. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We need to start talking about this a little bit. What kind of records did you have to go back and pull? Was it an easy process? Was it a long application? Anybody got any details on that in the chat that already did this, filled this out? Love to hear about it. Let's see, we got a screen here on that. Eligibility for debt relief. Here's your eligibility here. Okay.
It says who qualifies. Again, individuals who made 125,000 or made less than 125,000, and families that made less than 250,000. So I qualify. I don't know about y'all, but
yeah,
but that's what over here.
And it's also making sure it's it's got to be a federal loan, a federal Pell Grant recipient, right? Mama Guy says, do they give money or reduce the amount owing? Good question.
That's a good question. Here's the application. As you see, it's not very long. Just name, social security number, date of birth, contact information.
Go ahead and go down, review and submit agreement. So that's where you sign. Okay, so it doesn't look like you have to go look at any, you have to pull any old records or anything like that. Ms. Erica felt, if you have business that would like to donate for a raffle to benefit cancer benefit being held for me November 4th, I can put you in touch with the organizers. The Omaha Children's Museum will be presenting a show for the children. Nice. Salt Peppers and Rotella are catering the spaghetti feed. Lots of big donors that I'd love to see local business put on the list with. All right, cool. I'm glad you put that up. That's going to we'll reiterate that in the HAPs as well, and definitely get down on November 4th with you. Linda in Chicago says, watch out for scammers. They're already warning about them. Use the government website. Yeah, that was my question too. Yesterday I was looking, and I remember kind of double checking to see if I was on the right site, because there's a lot of scams out there that's got real official looking websites, and you can end up putting all your information there. So that's the other thing. We got to make sure that we got the right one. So we did on this one. So
studentaid.gov.
Stacey Jean says, I know someone who did it this weekend. Took less than 5 minutes to fill out application. Thank you for that information. That's what I want to hear. Glenisha says, I'm not totally against voter. Okay, we'll jump back to that in a minute. She says, yeah, no, I appreciate you coming in with that, Miss Erica Fell. Also, Gwen Easter, we'll come back to it. Just want to wrap up this talk a little bit about the student ID. The student loan debt forgiveness on that. So if you got a Pell Grant, looks like they can look up your information for you. You can just fill that out in 5 minutes and get an answer. See what's happening with that. So you said that there might be people that got paid already, money in their account, or like Mama God was saying, is it just take it off your debt, or we don't really know how the payout works yet, huh?
From what I've heard, it is similar to what Sister Erica Feld is saying. The student loan payment is given directly to your lender. So whoever your loan lender or provider is, then they will receive the payment directly, and then that will show on your account. So it'll be a reduced, either depending on what you owe, it'll either completely wipe it out, or just be a reduce in cost. So again, you're still looking at about 20,000 for individual borrowers.
That's what's up. Gwen Easter said, I know 2 people that student loan was paid off. Okay.
Yeah, again, some people are receiving it.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna be filling this out this afternoon for sure.
Oh yeah, and it doesn't take long. It doesn't take long. Just make sure you have the documentation. I'm not seeing any specific numbers for how many people were able to receive it. But it is important to know for those of you who are trying to go through this process. This is a beta version of the website. This is an early launch of the website. The actual site, I believe, isn't expected to launch until the 23rd. And the application will be available through December 31st of 2023. So we have about a year or so to fill that out. But as the website stands right now, it is kind of early on, so it may be a little buggy. It does say that you may have to refresh the page or keep checking back a few times. And it says the department is only offering periodic access to the form. So again, if you do go to this website, maybe later on today, tomorrow, and that application is not available, again, please, this is just a beta version. Don't fret, don't worry. Just try to keep refreshing the page and check back.
Okay, I don't want no Fadoop site going on here.
Again, also make sure you are going to the right site. Again, that's studentaid.gov. Remember, if it's not that .gov, if you see a .com, .net, .edu or something like that, that's not it. .gov. You need that .gov, studentaid.gov/debt relief.
There you go. All right, 8:50 right now for First Sky Omaha Radio. First Sky Omaha in the morning.
In the morning.
In the concept of time, my bad. Stepping on your song there.
Oh, you good, you good. All up on the jingle. All up on the jingle.
I'm gonna sing.
You gotta let the jingle jangle, man. You gotta let the jingle jangle.
Yeah, jangle. Jangle.
But before we get out of here, and again, just about 10 minutes left in this thing, we do have one last story. Shout out to the Hood Table, man. We definitely appreciate y'all for bringing this story to our attention and kind of giving us an update for those of you who don't know or aren't familiar with the story. There was a situation at Oriental Trading. Yeah. Thank you. Oriental Trading, where a man placed a noose next to a quote unquote black colleague's workstation, and that man has now been convicted of violating the person's federal civil rights. So this is a federal civil rights case now. The gentleman pled guilty last month to one count of violating protected activities. In this case, the person's employment in federal court in Omaha. According to the federal government, the gentleman placed a noose on a floor scrubber at the Oriental Trading Company that was exclusively used by his so-called black co-worker. In-court prosecutors said the gentleman stated, "Nazi stuff doesn't make black people crazy, but a hangman's noose certainly would." Prosecutors also said the gentleman did this because his co-worker was in fact quote unquote black and employed at Oriental Trading Company, saying he meant to intimidate him. Yeah. When asked if he committed the crime that he was accused of course he said, "Not in that particular way. If you let me explain, what I did was stupid, sophomoric." So again, kind of going to how these incidents are treated a lot of times in the media. He was just a bad apple, or boys will be boys, and you know how kind of young European men get that pass a lot of times. That's kind of the sense I'm getting from himself. Who was saying what I did was stupid, and no, what you did was racist
and stupid.
Right.
Well, shout out to the Hood Table. I think they broke that story, as a matter of fact, too. They had people on and everything else too. Definitely check out the Hood Table and put it in the chat. Very, very entertaining show. Been doing it longer than us, and been hanging in there with it, and really talking about a lot of things that goes on. It's an adult show. I will save that. So watch. Just keep that in mind. You got it on loud. Because they raw. They talk about it all. They get busy with it. She says, "Thank you. We will be supporting him at court in December." So they're part of this, supporting him at court. Also, Miss Erica Fell had a little insight. Said, "My son's father was there at the Omaha Trading Company that day and was interviewed by management. They tried hard to keep it hushed. He hurried up and called me."
I'm sure they're trying to keep that hush. It's a bad look.
Wow. She said, "Yes, we are an adult show and discuss everything from the hood to the White House." That's what's up.
Hey,
definitely check them out, and hopefully we'll be on that show. We talked about being on the show on Friday, so maybe you'll see Paul Beee and Buddi3 Da Gawd over there on the Hood Table, and definitely want to have you on the Hood Table on our show as well. So we'll definitely put that together. Rome's reviews FNX, first national experience, new public access television station, all about the Native experience in America. 12.5 channel for me. Interesting.
Okay.
First Nation Experience TV. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you, Mayor Sanchez, for that. Definitely check that.
Man. First Sky is all about the First Nation.
There you go, bro. That's what's up. Oh man. Okay, cool. That's 6 minutes left in the show. We'll go ahead and jump into the halves. Thanks for everybody who chimed into the chat on all these subjects. And yeah, man, it's kind of it's good news. This cat got some discipline over this action over here at Omaha Trading Company or Omaha Oriental Trading Company. So yeah, that's what's up. Appreciate it. I'm glad you guys were on top of that and didn't stay quiet about those things. Those things happen all the time, every day to Black folks in Omaha all the time, and people don't speak up about it. People don't really. They just they don't speak up. I know now after talking to Lacey and Amber Ruffin and reading their book. You know, you can sit and deal with stuff for years and just sometimes the only recourse you have is to go write it down because you can't always fight it. But I'm glad they fought this and it came out like it did. In the meantime, between time, we're gonna jump into a few little haps that's going on this week because there are some that are happening. Big week at the Benson Theater. I'll tell you about it in a minute, right after the bass.
What's the haps? What's happening? What's going down?
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for the haps. Time for us to talk to you about a few things that's going on this week, and also for you to tell us what's going on this week as well. We really want to know what you got going on, and also coming up this weekend. So I'm gonna jump right into it. It's a big week for the Benson Theater. As a matter of fact, the first thing I want to talk about is the Red Velvet open mic that happens every third Thursday at 8:00. You need to go down and check it out, man. Bring your best poetry, bring your best stuff. This is in the spirit of the Verbal Gumbo. If you guys used to go to Verbal Gumbo at the House of Loom back in the day, Michelle Troxclair and Felicia put this kind of passed the mic to this group of people who are now running the Red Velvet Curtain open mic. I believe Michelle Troxclair is going to be there too. She DJs and stuff on these nights. So definitely bring your best poetry, your best rap, your best whatever. Come down for the open mic every third Thursday at the Benson Theater. Red Velvet Curtain open mic is going down. Also, for you guys that are out there and love all the scary horror stuff and all that good stuff, there's going to be a special event on October 22nd, an immersive Shining experience. Welcome to the Overlook. The place is going to be decorated. People are going to be in costume and masks and masquerade. They're going to have all kinds of stuff going on. They do a ghost story open mic and then an immersive film screening. So kind of like a Rocky Horror Picture Show style. The Shining. They're gonna watch the scary movie, the old scary movie, The Shining. So if you're into that kind of thing, come down, check it out on October 22nd at 6 p.m. is when the doors open, I believe. So come down, check that out, and that's a huge one. What day is that? That's the 22nd, right? Which is
next Monday, I want to say.
Is it
this Saturday?
No,
this Saturday.
This Saturday, right? Okay, got it. But Sunday is this is more my style. I'm definitely hitting this up. Messengix.
Hey,
one of my favorite groups in Omaha and Lincoln in Nebraska, period, is going to be here for a Sunday brunch, which is definitely more my speed. I'm more the afternoon mimosa, daytime drinking cat now. So, you're getting old. You get in bed by 9 o'clock after you do some day drinking. It's happening at the Benson Theater, man. October 23rd at 10 from 10 to 1. There's going to be food from JoJo's Diner. They get down with them with all the good stuff. Go check that out. Get your tickets for that. That's happening. It's filling up fast too, so you might want to check it out. And then the stylings of Messengix. Our friend Mary, man, is going to get down on the show for us. So definitely come there for Sunday brunch. This is a first of the once a month brunches that we're going to have over at the Benson Theater. Definitely check that out on Sunday as well. So there's a lot more going on this week at the Benson Theater, but those are the highlights for me. Appreciate that very much. Also, let's see. Anybody in the chat got anything happening? Let's see.
While you go to the chat, there is an event going on tomorrow at the Benson Theater. If you're interested, Opera and Conversation, a series of 3 sessions surrounding Opera Omaha main stage productions that features creative scholars and other public figures. Of course, join Opera Omaha on Tuesday, October 18th. Again, that's tomorrow at the Benson Theater for our first X, the Life and Times of Malcolm X Opera in Conversation. Again, this is in preparation of the event going on later this year with Opera Omaha, again, going celebrating the life and legacy of brother Malcolm X, El Haj Malik, El Shabazz. So definitely tomorrow is the first time to join that conversation. It's going down at the Benson Theater. Admission is free. So definitely, tap in, check it out, and talk about the late great Malcolm X.
Appreciate that. That's what I was looking forward to. Thank you very much for that.
Yes,
for sure.
sir.
Also, don't forget about Dewan Lamont Hayes' Nightshade that's happening October 22nd. Coming up. It's going to be at the Starlight Chateau. And yeah, man, that's a beautiful spot. You definitely got to check it out. It's one of the gems of North Omaha, the hidden gems. Definitely check it out. If not for the building alone, come see what's going on. But definitely going to be some beautiful art, dancing, and all kinds of things going on. He says divine regalia. I love that. I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna steal that for next time I want people to come dressed up. Come as your highest self in your divine regalia. That's what's up. So yeah, dress to impress and come on through to Nightshade. Support that. He's definitely on the move to try to lock down some spaces in North Omaha. He's all about the spaces right now. Space is the place for him. So that's what's up. And this will be kind of the beginnings of some of that. So definitely check out Nightshade October 22nd at the Starlight Chateau. And that's at 1310 North 29th Street. So that's what's up. Yep. And don't forget about all the dates, man. We still got all these very important dates. Election day, of course, is Tuesday, November 8th. Where the polls will be open on that day. But you can do some early in-person voting at your county election offices from the 11th that's already passed all the way to November 7th. So right now we're in the middle of that. You can go anytime that their hours are open. Hours may vary by county, so definitely check that out. But you can go in person now, spend as much time as you want looking through the voter guide and making your decisions right now so that you're not pressed on election day to do that. So go ahead and check out some early voting if you can. And that's how I do it. That's how I do it. I'll definitely go on an off day and I can just spend my time. And you never know what's going to happen on the day of. That's the other thing. Go on and do it early, man, because you don't know. You might get a flat tire or something. Something happens. You got to take a kid to the hospital. Something happened. You can't get down to the voting office on vote day. You can be mad at yourself. So get it done early. And
knock it out.
Yeah, man, knock it out. So and anyway, so that's just want to put those dates back up there. That's something that you definitely want to take a look at. And keep in mind. So we're getting closer to it. We're going to talk about it all the way up until this time. And hopefully we'll get some new blood in and so on and so forth. That's what we're looking for.
22 days.
Before we get out of here, we were talking about water. Definitely check out Third Eye Water, man. A couple of brothers who have a filtration and a purification process in order to purify that water that they are selling. And just get a hold of them. You can check them out on their Facebook page. I think I put that Facebook page in the chat a little earlier.
Yeah, you did.
But definitely check out Third Eye Water, Black-owned water company that wanted to put something together because they were also sick of what's going on with the water system in Omaha, man. So there you go. So really appreciate everybody that can support them as well. I'll find out where you can buy that from too.
I was gonna say there are a few brick and mortars, a few physical locations where you can go pick up some Third Eye Water around the community. So we'll have to find that. And while we're talking about that, I also want to give a shout out to brother Alsor Shabazz Bay for getting his teas. The Harmony Wellness Tories signature teas are now available at No Name Nutrition. That's on 72nd and Grant Street. So definitely check that out, man. This is somebody from the community doing good things as well, giving you some beverages that'll give you life as well. So yeah, check that out. Check that out. I'm
so glad. I was looking for that right now. You on it. That's what's up.
Come on, man. Dynamic duo.
Yep. Rose Reviews. I will find out where you can get that water from. You can also hit their website and get it ordered directly too. But I'll definitely find out what stores you can buy their water from very soon. Yeah, Third Eye Water gets down, man. A couple of cool brothers that are down with the first Sky Omaha life. So that's what's up. Appreciate everybody that joined in. Let's get out of here. We're already running late. Buddy, you got some words for the peoples.
Man, big shout out to my man Matt Wynn from Flatwater Free Press for coming through and speaking with us, taking the time in this morning to speak with us. So definitely check them out, flatwaterfreepress.org, doing the work, especially reaching the corners and crevices of rural Nebraska that we aren't tapped into. So again, teamwork makes the dream work, and we'll get to the bottom of it together. So definitely check them out. Also, big shout out to all of you, the ghost listeners, the chat chimers, first time listeners, last time listeners, everybody who makes this experience what it is. Because as Paul mentioned, would not be the same without y'all, man. Like, yeah, just me and Paul sitting here talking, it'd be cool, but not as entertaining, not as informative, not as fulfilling, man. So appreciate everybody. As always, catch the same time, same place, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right here on First Sky Omaha in the morning. Without further ado, Paul B, take it away, man.
Right on, Miss Erica Phelps. She's asking where is Pops. He had some appointments this morning. He hit me on the text and said he was cool and to give the First Sky family all his love. So thanks for asking about him. Appreciate you. Shout out to the Hood Table for coming through. She likes the What's Happening track.
Hey, what's happening?
She said, let's get our vote on. I heard that. Appreciate it. Miss Erica Phelps says, great show for Dupe-a-Doop. That tickles me. Be good to yourselves. Drink water and check your health. No wealth without good health.
Man,
get your third eye water on for sure. Also, yes, right. The Hood Table, Black Owned Water Company. There you go. Gwen Easter said, I would love to check out Third Eye Water. We'll get you some more. We'll get you guys some more info on that for sure and put it in Friends of First Sky Omaha. So appreciate that. Hood Table says, have a great day, y'all. You guys have a great day too. Again, want to thank all of you for chiming into the chat. Numbers fluctuating and being funny today, and I do think it has something to do with Facebook. So remember, you can always jump over to YouTube, where a lot of our listeners are going as well if there's a problem. And you can always hit up Twitter as well. We go live on Twitter too. So if YouTube is acting a fool, jump over on YouTube, because YouTube is where we can see your chats. So definitely jump over to YouTube and keep chat chiming if Facebook is tripping. You know, Facebook might have thrown an algorithm to get us there. You're getting too popular. We're going to have to shut them down. So you never know. You never know what the Zuckerberg is doing. So you can jump over to YouTube if you feel like it as well. So I appreciate that very much. You said Facebook posted one of my comments 3 times. Yeah, they tripping today.
Yeah, man.
Technical difficulties. Anyway, thanks to Omaha Tribe elders for allowing us to be on this land and speak while we're here. Thanks to our elders for allowing us to speak before them. And thanks to all of you, the chat chimers, allowing us to speak with you. All the ghost listeners as well who chime in when they feel the spirit. Really appreciate that. And appreciate you listening and spreading the word. And if you missed any parts of the broadcast, you can always go back to Facebook or YouTube or Twitter and watch the episode in its entirety. And definitely check out the chats when you do so, because a lot of the conversation that happens in the chat. So we really appreciate everybody. Also, for those of you that are reoccurring members of the channel, we very much appreciate you for that as well. We have our $10 members, our $25 members, our $50 members. And if you want to become a reoccurring member of the channel as well, go to firstsky.omaha.com, hit the donate button, and it'll be all laid out there for you if you're so inclined. Yeah. Thank you very much. We will see you Wednesday. It'll be Women's Wednesday. We'll be politicking with Pete Precious McKesson, and we'll be seeing what's good in the hood with Kimra Snipes. Really appreciate that. And don't forget the Friday show. We'll be talking to Blue Snitch, who is causing an uproar on Twitter right now with telling everybody about what's going on, all the corruption in the police department. She's going to be on Friday as well. And we also have another guest on there from Big Brothers Big Sisters is going to talk about a campaign. So lots going on this week. Tune in Wednesday, tune in Friday. And if Facebook is giving you the blues, head over to YouTube and watch us over there. Appreciate you. Also check out the Hood Table on Fridays. Friday night goes down and get busy. Get your wine and sit and chill and talk some junk with the Hood Table. And that's my Friday nights. When I'm home, I'm watching the Hood Table these days. That's what's up. So anyway, appreciate you very much. We'll see you Wednesday. Have a good one, y'all.
Peace.
By the way, Vanglorious, this is protected by the red, the black, and the green. At the crossroad, with the key.
By any means